know what I'm saying.
Yeah, you're definitely under voltage.
Way to go, Kansas.
Like and subscribe, smash that notification button so you're notified every single time we post a new video.
We don't have hot water, but it's only in the one sink, the bathroom sink, no hot water. But we were able to turn the pump on, no leaking. So it kind of took the urgency out of the issue, which was nice. Kind of affected the morale a little bit last night. Once again, we're first night out and we were having water issues. Last time, I don't know if you remember, from Santa Rosa Park when we took a trip earlier the year. The tank seems to be empty again. So it's just that we didn't fill the tank enough and I dewinterized and we were out of water. So not a big deal. It was just one night and we were using gallons of water. But this one seemed a little more serious because it was a leak. So tonight we're just going to stay at the Harvest Host, and tomorrow when we get to Kansas City, we'll drop the trailer, head into town, try to get some hardware, probably some extra PEX tubing, a couple different connectors, just get enough stuff that so if this happens again down the road, we're prepared for it. Our next night tonight is in Kansas. It's a town called Wamego, and we're staying at a vineyard, Shiloh Vineyards, and we actually got a message from them earlier saying, can you arrive before 3:30 or after 3:30? I guess there's a wedding on site today. So we told them, oh, we'll be there around 2, but we forgot about time zones. Kylie's gonna airdrop me some photos, and apparently it's cool now that we have the new iOS. What number iOS is this? 17. Woo!
Okay.
Here it goes.
Ready? Hold on, it's not gonna work now that we're like filming it. Okay, ready?
Less cool than I expected. Good morning. We've had, I think, 2 very successful nights at Harvest Host. Probably two of our favorites so far. Barzy Winery in Texas was great. This one was a winery as well, even more spacious than Barzy. And little pond over there. There was a wedding here last night, so we didn't really spend too much time at the actual winery itself. We did do a tasting, and we bought 2 bottles of wine to bring home. Also, chocolate covered almonds. A few technical issues to deal with when we get to Kansas City, which is our next stop. We're gonna be there for a week, so can get to relax a little bit. We're going to Worlds of Fun Village. It is a amusement park slash RV resort. I told you earlier about the leak we had in the sink, the bathroom sink. It only drips when the pump is on because that's when there's water pressure. But I just realized this morning that when we hook up to city water, we're gonna have full-time water pressure. So that means we're gonna have a full-time drip. So that means we're going to the hardware store pretty soon after we get there. Our other ongoing issue for the last 3 trips has been our battery, or more specifically our power converter, which takes shore power and is supposed to charge your battery, but it doesn't seem to be doing that. Our battery's fine. We replaced it in April, probably unnecessarily, not realizing that the problem was the converter. We dropped the trailer off for a couple weeks at our local RV maintenance shop. They said the only problem was that a fuse was blown, and I felt pretty stupid for not catching that. We woke up this morning, battery completely dead, thermostat's flashing. This is pretty frustrating, probably the most annoying thing. It's not gonna ruin the trip or anything. We can always plug into the truck, but it's just frustrating that every time we take the RV in for repairs, we have to take it in to get the repairs done again. This is a common issue with RVs and RV maintenance, but it shouldn't be. It doesn't need to be. Anyway, get back to the good stuff. So we're heading to Kansas City. This is for all of us, this is our first time in Kansas, although I think we're going to Kansas City, Missouri, so it'll be our first time in Missouri for everybody. Ready for the next adventure. Got about a 4.5 hour drive, and then we'll be set up for the week. Anything to add, Kylie?
Yes, I really liked these Harvest Hosts. My favorite was probably the one that we stayed at yesterday, because we got to feed some buffalo, bison. They use those terms interchangeably. And I thought it was really cool to wake up this morning and see cornfields, because that's not something you see every day. Because when I wake up at home, I just see like pine trees. So I just saw corn. And so yes, we're gonna hit the road, maybe grab a snack, who knows. YOLO.
So we just passed a billboard for the Oz Museum. We're in the middle of Kansas right now, the setting of Wizard of Oz. Well, the setting of Dorothy's house in the Wizard of Oz before it got blown away. So I think we're gonna stop. This is the beauty of RV travel. We don't have a schedule. We have a reservation for tonight, so good to go whenever we get there. And yeah, just get to adjust your plans as you go. So what do you think, Kylie? Should we go? Hello, Kylie. Oh. I didn't see your thumb. All right, Honey Bunch, you want to go?
Jeffrey wants to find another Taco John.
Oh man, we ate at Taco John's yesterday for lunch, right next to Jimmy John's. But Taco John's was delicious.
And he had the bright idea of asking the worker there if there was going to be a Papa John's, and the worker was not.
Said,
Yeah. Yesterday, I mean today, right now, I don't know why I said yesterday, we just saw a sign that had a sunflower on it, and it had some numbers in it. I'm not really sure what those numbers meant, but it was not the speed limit, that's for sure.
Why? What were the numbers?
Like 179 or something.
Oh, that's the speed limit.
What?
We just go slower when we're driving with the trailer.
Well, the speed limit right now is like 43.
We're only going 64.
Oh.
That's pretty much, 64 is pretty much my max when pulling the trailer, both for safety reasons and for gas mileage. We were informed by Honey Bunch's mom that Kansas is the sunflower state.
Shout out to Mama Pa!
All right, we'll see you at the Oz Museum.
Peace.
All right, so we are about 5 miles away from the Oz Museum. It seems like one of Kansas's main things is just museums in general. We passed billboards for a motorcycle museum, an automobile museum, a Dwight Eisenhower museum, a Czech museum, as in the Czech Republic, not like a checkbook. There's at least one other one. I forgot what it was.
Orphan Museum.
Orphan Museum?
Yeah, it's like National Orphan Museum or something.
There's one other one. I was trying to keep track of them, but anyway, there's basically a museum. Oh, there's a Greyhound museum, like the racing dogs. Town is Wizard of Oz themed. There's Toto's Tacos right there. They have the Wicked Witch's legs hanging out from under the bank. So yeah, I asked why is this town so Wizard of Oz themed, and they just said about 20 years ago They're young people that are running the museum right now. They said about 20 years ago, before there was internet, or else it would have been more popular. I think we had internet 20 years ago.
Welcome. You've got mail.
Basically, they had a collector bring a bunch of artifacts here, and then they built a museum out of it. Basically, everything grew from there. The town itself doesn't really have anything to do with Wizard of Oz or the making of it, but this is where they keep all the history for it. Kind of interesting. Learned a few things. I always heard that the Tin Man, the actor that played the Tin Man, got sick. I thought it was sort of like being asphyxiated from the paint. Apparently they used aluminum dust on his face, so every time they applied the makeup, which was multiple times a day, he would breathe in a little bit, and that coated his lungs and prevented them from actually absorbing oxygen. So he ended up having to go to the hospital for 6 weeks, and someone else took the role, right? So someone else had to play the role, and after that they had switched to like a paste makeup that they put on his face. That guy got an eye infection, couldn't film for 2 weeks. So yeah, I think safety standards have changed a little bit in Hollywood, but that was interesting. We saw some stuff about the actors. It was an interesting little stop. The whole town is decorated like Oz, or Wizard of Oz themed, so pretty cool. Come visit. We're back at the Catskills. We're gonna get weighed one more time. We've added a camper shell, a couple new things in the back now that we don't have to worry about security as much. So let's get the app out. Okay, Weigh My Truck app. When you know how much you weigh, it helps you properly inflate your tires, so it's good to know that. We usually just go to the max cold temperature. The sign is about 5 feet above me, so obviously it's meant for trucks. Going into place here, we've got station 3352, which they've already detected. That's pretty cool. Confirming. Blazdar, got all the other stuff from last time we got weighed. Let me check, make sure we're in the right blocks. So there are 3 sections. We've got the front axle on the front section, back axle of the truck on the second section, and then the trailer is on the last section. Weighmaster is verifying information. Cost $13.50. I think that's more than it was last time, if I remember correctly. Can't remember. Weighmaster is verifying information. And by the way, this was Honey Bunch's idea this time, so thanks, Honey Bunch. Looks to be about the same. Steer axle, 3,420 pounds. Drive axle, 4,860, and the trailer is 7,320, totaling 15,600 pounds. Okay, we're done. Out of here. The only times I wish this was a diesel truck, because it seems to have plenty of power, although we've talked about maybe upgrading to a Super Duty one day, a couple years down the road. But gas stations, they make it difficult to pull in with a trailer. I wish I could just pull through these truck stops. They always seem to be pointed the wrong way or packed with cars. No one is real patient or interested in letting a trailer get in there. But anyway, we're gonna go try to figure it out again anyway. We need one more tank before we get to Kansas City.
We need food before
and the girls
city because we are not gonna be happy.
Girls need food. We've got a fridge and pantry full of food in the back.
We don't have anything good.
Okay, we're at the gas plaza of Flint Hills. You might be like, why is this guy showing us the gas station? How exciting can it be? But little do you know, this is a digital gas pump. Takes Apple Pay. Yeah, I guess that's about all I can say about it. So one thing I like about Kansas so far is that our truck requires 87, well, in every state, our truck requires a minimum of 87 octane gas. Usually, at least in Colorado, that's the mid-grade, which is the next pricing tier. So far here, every place in Kansas, 87 octane is low grade. And the gas is almost $1 cheaper, so this gas was $3.52 a gallon. which actually was less than our average for our entire test trip when we were really keeping track of it. But yeah, way to go, Kansas. And thank you. And a quick update on the battery situation. Just went back to check things out while the girls got some food. And the fridge is cold, everything in the freezer is frozen, but no lights come on anymore. There's usually an indicator that says gas or electric powered. The gas is not empty. I double checked, turned the stove burner on so I could tell if gas was still getting pumped. We still have 2 more propane tanks, so we're fine there, but hopefully the fridge is cooling right now. Either way, in about an hour and a half we'll have power, but this battery thing is frustrating, especially because it's a problem we were told was solved. We'll see you in Kansas City. Yesterday, I was thinking we were going to have a bigger problem when we got here to the park where we have water connection. That was because when we're on city water, the system would be pressurized full time. So luckily, before we got here, I had a little common sense kick in and realized that we can still do what we do when we're boondocking. And that is fill up the freshwater tank and use the pump, which we can turn on and off to depressurize the system and prevent water from pushing through the leak. I think I got everything I need to fix it. Took a trip over to Lowe's today. We're now in Kansas City. We're at Worlds of Fun Village, which is attached to the local amusement park, Worlds of Fun. I'll show you some of that later. I think we're going to actually go into the park on Friday. But here's what we got. So, I'm not sure where the problem is. It looks to me like it's right above where the PEX connects to the adapter that threads on to the bottom of the faucet. So what we got is some extra PEX, reinforced tubing. We have the female swivel adapters, which is what threads on to the bottom of the sink valve and connects to the faucet. PEX clamps, which are what go over the tubing and then clamp it down. Coupling pieces, just in case I do need to cut and attach a new piece. Clamp tool, cutter, which can also be used for PVC. Mounting cables, because these allow for a screw to go through that hole, and that is something that was already there, and I had to cut it in order to do our temporary fix, or our mitigation of the leaking at least, which was to kink the hose and also put it inside the trash can in case it continues to drip, which just today it seems to have continued to drip because there's some water in the trash can. So I'm gonna try to take care of all these things. The hot water was our main issue where we saw the drip, but I have seen it also dripping on the cold side now. Okay, it's been a long night. After about 5 hours of trying to do this job with this crimping tool and failing, I was able to get the clamp on, but every time I put the clamp on, attached it to the sink, turned on the pump, there was a ever so slight drip, and it was pretty obvious that the clamp itself was not as tight as it could be. So I redid it probably about 4 times, both hot and cold. Failed every single time. Luckily, it's nice to be in a big city. Lowe's is open till 10, so ran back, tried to save myself 50 bucks earlier, but ended up getting this. And 10 minutes later, the job is done. So, just goes to show that it helps to have the right tools for the job. Sometimes 50 bucks is better than 5 hours. And this is the final result. Pretty much back where we started. Still not sure why it started leaking in the first place. Both hot and cold were leaking. But I think we're back in business now. The ongoing saga, as I've referred to it before, of our battery and power converter, our inability to maintain power when we're not on shore power, and when we are on shore power, our battery doesn't really charge. I've showed that meter before. I'll overlay it here. But is in the range of low, fair, good, and charged. We never reached charged. Even after our local RV maintenance shop fixed it.
Yeah, you're definitely under voltage. So we're reading about 11.5.
Okay.
And when you have a converter added to the battery power, you should be somewhere closer to about 13.5.
Okay.
So,
And which two wires were you testing there?
So this is one of your positive leads.
And the black one.
And the black one, and this is another positive lead.
Okay.
They're coming from the same place. Yeah. And this is your neutral. Right there.
The white's the neutral.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I want to turn off the power at the shore power, and I want to test the battery.
Okay.
That's what I want to do next.
Sounds good.
I know he's got a brand new battery, but 11.7.
I want to say a big thanks to Brad at On the Trail Again LLC Mobile RV Repair. He came out on Tuesday, yeah, and kind of diagnosed the problem, confirmed our suspicions. When we looked at it, the power converter was putting out about 11 volts, maybe 11.5. Not enough to charge a battery, a 12-volt battery. So in the end, Brad ended up replacing the power converter. And we've been reading fully charged for the last few days. And we just did a test. I turned off the breaker at the power pole. So no shore power. We let it go. We left all the lights on, plugged in all of our phones. So gave it as much of a test as we possibly could. And let that run for about an hour and a half. And the battery is still reading fully charged. When we did this same thing, driving, we had a driving day on Sunday. We drove for about 4 hours, but about 2 hours into the trip, we were totally dead. Nothing, no lights worked. The fridge panel was totally off, so we couldn't even tell if it was running on gas propane power, which I think it was, but there's no way to know because nothing had any power. So I think we're good there. We do have a spare battery in the car right now. I think we're going to return that to a Camping World location. Hopefully there's one in Nashville somewhere. We also have a few extra parts and a tool that didn't work to solve the sync problem, so we're going to return that to Lowe's. But overall, I think all of our current maintenance issues are resolved.